Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News on Mid-Missouri CW starts now.
A huge welcome for President Trump as he makes his first stop in Columbia just days before the midterm election. He finished his speech about 45 minutes ago. Now take a look at this. It's a live look at Highway 63 at this hour. Lots of traffic lights there. It's much busier than normal for this time of night as thousands of Missourians make their way home. Parking proved to be a challenge at today's event. Good evening, everyone. I'm Emily Spain.
And I'm Jim Reek. Thanks for joining us. It's been a very busy day at the Columbia Regional Airport as the president brought his Make America Great Again tour to Tigertown. We've had live team coverage all day. KOMU 8's Emma Claybrook joins us live at the hangar where thousands of Trump fans showed up to hear his message.
I'm live here at the Columbia Regional Airport where hundreds of Trump supporters are still filing out of the airplane hangar. Air Force One just took off to head back to Washington, D.C., but President Trump came to Missouri to campaign for Josh Hawley, and one of the main talking points of the night was Claire McCaskill. The president called Democrats, quote, crazy, and said that Missourians need to get out to the polls to vote to change American politics. The president also spoke about the economy and immigration, blaming Democrats for allowing caravans to enter the country. He repeatedly said these midterm elections were some of the most important in history, but his focus was on getting Missourians to vote for Josh Hawley.
He's a star in our country. He is going to be something special. He's going to represent you for a long time, and he's going to represent you well.
Claire McCaskill wanted us to call Hillary Clinton Madam President. Well, on November the 6th, because of the leadership of Donald Trump, on November the 6th, we're going to call Claire McCaskill fired.
Governor Parsons, Senator Roy Blunt, and Representative Vicky Hartzler spoke before the president arrived. They also urged Missourians to vote for Josh Hawley. The president returns to Missouri on Monday for a rally in Cape Girardeau. Reporting live at the Columbia Regional Airport, Emma Claybrook, KOMU 8 News.
President Trump is considering narrowing the way gender is defined in the United States. KOMU 8's Kara Strickland is in the studio to tell us why people gathered near the rally today in protest.
This afternoon, people from across the state gathered near Highway 63 just down the street from the rally. The protest organizer says the protest is a direct response to President Trump's recent memo, which would define gender at birth. People lined the side of the roundabout in a peaceful protest for drivers to see as they exited for the airport. The protest included signs, chants, and music in support for the trans community. One mother says she attended the protest to stand up for her child's rights. Her son says the memo made him question his own safety.
I have a right to love my child for who he is, and my child has a right to be who he is.
When I see Trump's memo, I feel uncertain for my future and what it could mean for health care, what it could mean for me to start a family, what it could mean for me to exist in this everyday world.
The protest organizer says she hopes the protest tells the president that even in a red state like Missouri, there are trans people and they won't be erased. Reporting live in the studio, Kara Strickland, KOMU 8 News.
Parking today was unorganized and weather conditions didn't help. Officers were continuously changing where they were sending people to park. The rain made it even more difficult. It created muddy conditions, so when the paved parking areas filled up and people then had to park in the grass, their cars got stuck. One man even had to call a tow truck.
When everybody leaves, it's going to churn it into a disaster. So I decided to head it back up the hill to where I came from, and then the car got stuck.
The traffic along Route H picked up in the early afternoon. It was backed up to the US 63 overpass.
Mid-Missouri Democrats held the Rally for Sanity at the Boone County Courthouse today in opposition to the president's visit. KOMU 8's Drew Pilevsky was at the rally and is here in the studio to tell us about the group's message.
One representative told me this rally was designed to be a counter rally to President Trump. However, the general message was largely focused on getting out the vote and less about the current president. Several Democrats vying for spots in the Missouri House spoke to the crowd. They all had the same message. Missouri had gone red because the Democrats did not go to the polls in the last few elections. One attendee I spoke to was upset with the way President Trump treats the American people.
And we need to quit and get some people in office who really care about all people, about all the citizens, that aren't calling people names.
The rally lasted about an hour, and the audience was asked to sign up to help a representative with the final 5 days until the election. In the studio, Drew Pilevsky, KOMU 8 News.
Before heading to Colombia, the president addressed immigration at the White House. This is thousands of migrants are caravanning from Central America to the U.S. He says asylum seekers must go to official ports of entry to make a claim. He plans to issue an executive order next week that would ban migrants from claiming asylum if they cross the border illegally. The AP reports a migrant group got into a violent confrontation with Mexican police and threw rocks. In response, the president says American troops are urged to use force if rocks are thrown at them.
They want to throw rocks at our military fights back. We're going to consider it. I told them, consider it a rifle. When they throw rocks like they did at the Mexico military and police, I say, consider it a rifle.
He also says U.S. agents will no longer catch and release illegals. Instead, they'll be held in large tent cities.
With the election just days away, coming up, we're taking a look at Senate candidates' past voting records in a Target 8 fact check.
Plus, Toyota recalls more than 1 million cars.
Senator Claire McCaskill has long claimed she is not a party-line Democrat who can cross the aisle to compromise and does not always vote with her party. Recently, in a radio ad, the senator approved. Two men call out Democrats but say McCaskill works to cross party lines.
At a recent debate, McCaskill and Josh Hawley went back and forth on her past. KOMU 8's Eric Graves looked back at McCaskill's voting record to find out whether the claims are true.
And Claire's not one of those crazy Democrats. She works right in the middle and finds compromise.
McCaskill has said this claim herself. Recently, in a debate against Josh Hawley in St. Louis, she claimed she's a top senator when it comes to crossing the aisle.
The fifth most likely senator to break with my party. That's because I look at every issue on its merits and not on a party line.
We find this claim needs context. Roll call. A D.C. Insider paper says she's the fourth most likely Democrat to side with President Trump. But ProPublica ranks her as the eighth most likely Democrat to vote against the party. That ProPublica ranking said McCaskill voted against her party 17% of the time. The average Senate Democrat voted against the party 10% of the time. At the same debate, Hawley responded to McCaskill's bipartisan claim, and McCaskill fired back.
Despite voting with Chuck Schumer 90% of the time, however. So apparently Chuck Schumer must be on that.
And President Trump 50% of the time.
Both of them inflated the numbers a bit. ProPublica said McCaskill and the Senate Minority Leader Schumer agreed 80% of the time, not 90%. The blog 538 tracks lawmakers' Trump score, how often someone votes in line with Trump's position. McCaskill's is about 45%, not 50%. For Target 8, I'm Eric Graves, KOMU 8 News.
We do fact checks every Monday and Thursday. Next Monday, we'll fact check an ad about Josh Hawley. We've got all of our fact checks online at KOMU.com.
Coming up, Missouri's new Special Olympics training facility opened today. We'll take a look.
All right, Kenton, thank you very much. Toyota is recalling more than 1 million cars because of an airbag problem. The company says it realized the airbags can inflate without a crash or not work at all if there is one. But Toyota has not said if the problem has caused any crashes or injuries. The affected cars were built between July 2002 and June 2015. Owners will be notified in December, and dealerships will replace the airbag control unit.
The man accused of killing 11 people at a Pittsburgh synagogue appeared in court today. Robert Bowers pleaded not guilty. He was indicted on 44 counts, including murder, hate crimes, and obstructing a religion. Bowers grinned and used one-word answers when the judge asked questions. His attorneys entered the plea on his behalf. He could face the death penalty.
Rest assured, we have a team of prosecutors working hard to ensure that justice is done.
Investigators say Bowers used 3 handguns and a rifle as he went from room to room shooting those worshiping the Sabbath. Back in Boone County, a jury convicted Danico Crawley of murder this afternoon after 5 hours of deliberating. Crawley shot and killed Quentin Hurt at the I-70-63 connector last year. Prosecuting attorney Dan Knight discussed the guilty verdict.
This is the last time he's going to do this to a citizen out in public, I hope. And he deserves it. It's exactly what he deserves. He's one of the most dangerous people I've ever prosecuted.
The defense attorney refused to comment. Sentencing is next month.
Today, CPS released applications for attendance area focus groups with the new middle school set to open in 2020. Attendance areas for students will have to be adjusted. The district's community relations director says the focus groups are just one of the initial steps. Next spring, the Board of Education considers new attendance areas. Focus groups are made up of 12 to 15 people. They will help gather input from the community.
It is our intent to make sure that all of our schools are able to provide a positive educational environment, that we can reduce the overcrowding and overcapacity that we're seeing at several of our schools, and make sure that all of our students have a positive educational experience.
Baumstark says CPS wants to make sure all quadrants of the school district are represented. They plan to have the attendance areas decided before the new South Columbia school is done. After 8 years and over $14 million, today Special Olympics Missouri opened their new home. The new Training for Life campus in Jefferson City held a dedication ceremony this afternoon. Senator Roy Blunt, Governor Mike Parson, and former Governor Jay Nixon all made some remarks. Among the celebration, one local athlete was very grateful for the new facility.
Oh, this means like so much to me. This is like a place that I can call home, that I can train and learn life skills. I can meet a lot of new friends through this place.
More than 15,000 athletes participate in Special Olympics Missouri events every year. Basketball, it's not rocket science.
No, it's not. So Mizzou's coach is worried not so much about rocket science, but chemistry. And you're taking a live look over Highway 63 as Trump supporters head home from tonight's rally at the Columbia Regional Airport. Coming up on KOMU 8 News at 10, dark money. It's a term we've heard a lot throughout this election season.
But according to experts, it's perfectly legal. KOMU 8's Landon Burke delves into the issue for us on KOMU 8 News at 10. Kenton.
We are minus 1 day now from Halloween, 364, I guess you could say. But now we're 20 days to Thanksgiving, 53 days to Christmas, holidays right around the corner. We are in the season. Tomorrow we're going to start off around 38 degrees. We're going to end up into the lower 50s only, and some scattered showers expected tomorrow. And then this weekend, mainly dry during the daytimes, but then it's that overnight, Saturday night into Sunday morning, that we could see some rain.
Your holiday countdown stresses me out.
It's not, I'm just trying to keep you...
Only 50 days till Christmas. There's so much to do.
You know, not only do you fall backwards Saturday when
Right.
you go to bed, but
Yeah.
you also need to check your smoke alarm, the
Yes.
battery on your smoke alarm.
Yes.
Yep,
That's
perfect
very
time to do that.
Missouri women with another win tonight.
That's right, and they'll start counting the games for real next week. On the record, that was just an exhibition, but they won them both.
All righty. That is our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great night.
On air, online, on Facebook, on Twitter, on the news app, and the weather app. KOMU 8 News. Coverage you can count on.